welcome, it's Kate Griffiths here from Whole Self Leadership, and I'm jumping on for a few moments to share with you some thoughts from our Conscious Conversations book club book, which is actually called The Grace in Living, although I keep wanting to call it Living in Grace, which is something. And I really was taken aback by this particular chapter, which is the simplicity of being. And that might be because I've just been out in the sun and loving it, and also working with this beautiful spritz. I don't know if you can see, but it actually has some gold in amongst that lovely green. And gold and green together make alchemy. So that could be something to do with it. I think it might also be just the topic, because really what this chapter in the book talks about is how we make it so complicated to be in being, awakening isn't an wham bam thank you ma'am moment. It's probably an ongoing process through our lives. And yes, of course, there are moments of frustration with it. But it really depends where you are on the scale, because if we're in survival mode, it's all about getting bread on the table or looking after our family or all of those things that we have to do, and we've got no time for being because our life is so pressured. But that's not the truth of it. And yes, it is beliefs that we hold on to tightly. And I guess what I wanted to leave with you as a story to express what I mean, because sometimes an example illustrates a point far better than anything that we read. And that is, as some of you know, since last November I have been learning to row, and I'm not very good at rowing, but I do enjoy it, and I go pretty much every Saturday. And when I was learning, I would grip those oars, or blades as we call them, very, very tightly, because I was terrified of capsizing, especially when I was in a single boat. And I thought, and I guess I didn't really think about it, but part of me was like, if I hold on for dear life, I'll be safe. And I think that's often how we approach our lives, either consciously or unconsciously. And actually, if we just let go and surrender into the moment of it, we find ourselves in amazing moments of beauty, presence and grace, and it's incredible, really. And that's what happened with my rowing. I was sort of gripping these oars really tightly, and my form was terrible because I was getting wound up by the wind and all these other things on the water. And really it was just take a breath, nice deep breath, and relax. And in that moment something has shifted. And it's as simple as that. Being is hidden in plain sight, in plain view. But we don't feel that wonder can be that easy or that close. Perhaps that's what we've been led to believe. And so we go on this mad search, try all these different practices, and then feel overwhelmed by spirituality. And it's so much easier than that. And that's in essence what this chapter gives us, I feel. So it's definitely worth a read, if simply for that, because it might make your life a lot easier. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if it raises some comments or questions in you, please do put them in the chat below and I'll be sure to answer them. Thanks so much for watching. Lots of love.